There's sand in my shoes.
Alright, let's see how it holds up. Sorry about that. Again, welcome to my channel, and I've been trying to, well, adjust OBS and all the stuff. And, well, for now it seems to be holding a bit better than it did just now. So, what's up? So last time I made a few mistakes. I started by trying to, you know, go through the commissions and all the stuff, and burning through domains. And I actually wanted to explore on screen the new area, and I had to do it. Well, I had not really had, but I wanted to kind of at least explore it. Well, not having to worry about frame rate and stuff. And well, I guess I explored it. There's a few things because I haven't done the world quest yet. It's on my to-do list, and if OBS holds up, then I will do the. I will try to do the world quest on stream. But if not, then well, I will do it on my own. But today my intention was I already done well, since today's Monday, I already done the reputation quests, commissions, burn through resident stuff. So my intention today was to stream Nahida's second story quest, which I have been postponing, hoping to stream it live. So again, I don't really know for how long OBS is going to hold up, but I'm going to hope for the best. And if for some reason it starts, acting wonky and the like, then I guess I will have to complete this story quest at another time. But it shouldn't be that much of a problem, I guess. I mean, I can split the quest.
Everyone hold hands!
In two parts if needed, or more. I really don't want to. I only want it to be more than one part. I don't know how long it is. I don't know anything basically about Nahida's second story quest. But yeah, I think I've heard people saying that it was a really good story quest. So anything, to be fair, I think anything Sumeru is going to be great. And I've seen a couple things here and there, but I try to not spoil myself as much as possible, as to be well, reach the quest as how should I put it, as pure and innocent I was able to. So yeah. So, well, without further ado, and yeah, today, I think last day I was going with my Hyperbloom newest team, which I'm still trying. I still have to build because I need. I've been kind of artifact farming, trying to get some artifacts, at least decent artifacts for Shinobu. But that's still. If I change into my Hyperbloom team, I'm still going to need to interchange the set between Raiden and Shinobu. And I know it's a really small thing, but I'm really lazy, so I'm going to go with today. I'm going to go with my plain spread acrobat team, which is, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, with I've been running this team for basically ever since I got Al-Haytham, and yeah, it basically shreds everything. So I don't really. The Hyperbloom team is like a plus once I get it properly built. But I actually can run perfectly with this one, and with this one I actually have exploration bonuses, I guess, because with Zhongli I can mine ore and stuff if I come across, which I realized belatedly as I was exploring the new area, and I was like, oh, there's a new ore here, and I was like, this is where Zhongli actually comes in clutch. So yeah. Anyways, let me see. Story quest, and we got here Nahidas. Okay. Sapientia oromastis. That's Sapientia oromastis is how you would pronounce it more or less in Latin. I think in English you would go like Sapientia oromastis. It's basically the same, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to. Maybe it was just a weird flex. Don't mind me. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, well. Homecoming. Where lies back home? Okay, so I have to go to Sumeru City. Okay. Let's see. I'm actually excited because I've been kind of postponing this, like...
This weather
is
perfect for doing nothing at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so used to these lines. Oh, okay. Oh, bird. Nahida's bird.
Hey, isn't that Nahida?
Yeah, it is.
Nahida! I didn't think we'd run into you here. Oh, hey there. It's been a while, hasn't it? What have you two been up to?
Yeah, same. I'm going to go with the first because I haven't tried Genius Invocation DCT yet because I suck at cards and at card games, and I'm hesitant to try my hand at it. Laugh at me.
Seems like you've been enjoying yourselves. How about you? What are you up to now? I'm just looking out for some leads while getting some fresh air. I noticed that I have some blurry memories after saving Ermin's soul.
Do you remember?
I almost feel like there's still something extremely important I need to do. But I can't remember what it is. Why is that?
It's probably the effects of Ermin's soul. So here's the thing. I'm rather sure that she's referring to Ruka the Bata. But the thing is that the Ermin soul has been tampered twice, so tampered with. I mean, so here's the thing. I'm guessing this has to do with the first instance in the Archon Quest. But the thing, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, she had the backup for the Wanderer, but it's for now we know. That it's been tampered with twice, so I mean, I'm 95% sure that it's referring to the first time, but it's kind of I don't know if I make sense.
Don't worry, we'll help you remember.
What should I ask? I don't really know. Feel free to fill us in. Maybe I can help. I'd rather ask Nahida first.
Thank you so much. Since you're willing to help, I have something I'd like to show you.
Okay. Ooh. Cool.
Oh, it's beautiful. It looks like it's filled with some kind of power.
It's like...
I found it in the sanctuary of Suristana, but I have no recollection of it whatsoever. It's filled with pure elemental power that is quite similar to mine, but yet it's also a little different. It's very likely that it's connected to my foggy memory, but I can't figure out what it is.
So yeah, I guess my guess about Ruka the Bata was right. So the first thing I didn't want to interrupt the dialogue, but the first thing I actually went through my mind when she made the post, and she was like, "There's something I want to show you," and I was like, "Oh, is this going to be Knowledge Capsule 2.0?" And I mean, it's not that far from what a Knowledge Capsule looks like, except it's not ornament. It doesn't have the gold ornament and stuff, but yeah, it's most like it's like something great. Look at that are left behind. But that's the thing that's interesting. The foggy memory. So hear me out. I'm going to. I'm not a lore expert by any means, but I do check. I mean, I'm a lore diver. A lore diver myself, but not. I haven't. Genshin Impact is not yet my sphere of lore diving. I've been lore diving in other games, so I have to recognize that for Genshin Impact, most of my knowledge of lore comes from many other lore content creators. And here's the thing. So I was going to say, don't take my word as like. I just enjoy lore and stuff, and I'm probably going to repeat stuff that other lore divers more reliable than me in Genshin Impact have already stated or have theorized. But I want to try my hand and give my 2 cents. So the thing with the foggy memories is that in the end it reminds me to when if you recall, I think it's 3.2. When Nahida is actually crying after erasing Rukadvata's memory, but she can't recall why she is sad. And that makes me think, the whole thing is that the Irminsul can erase and can, well, more than erase, can modify memories, because it's not that there's a gap, like when the Wanderer tried to erase himself. But instead it's kind of a rewrite and readaptation of history, in which that person doesn't appear but can't completely leave a gap in the data, because I assume that people would notice that something's amiss if the point is that to keep people unaware that history has changed, for which purpose. Well, that would be theory. That would be the field of theory. But the thing is, one of the big things was that Nahida felt that sadness, and that leads me to think that yes, the Irminsul can erase memories, even your own, as it happened to, again, the Wanderer, but he himself said that he has been living with like an empty void in his heart due to not knowing his purpose or where he came from, and I think that's related to the Irminsul can change your memories, but it can't change your emotions. This is actually something. It's a theme that's not. I mean, it's not unique to this game. More, I've seen this sort of stuff happen, or be the core in other. I mean, Genshin is Chinese, but there's not so different from Japanese culture, and well, all this thing about memories and emotions being some sort of symbiotic, even though you can change something, you can change the memories and or the heart, so to speak. They kind of regrow on their own. It's kind of complicated. I don't really want to start going into dig into that hole. And I mean, that's why this thing, I think it's all in all, this was all a long run just to say that this is what interested me most.
Traveler, Do you have any ideas?
I think I just ranted about this whole thing. So yeah, I do have some ideas. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know if it's concerning per se. I wouldn't call it concerning. Depending on what you call it concerning, though. I'm just going to say I don't know.
You know, Nahida, we just happen to be going on an adventure right now. If we find anything, we'll be sure to let you know right away. Thanks, you two. I didn't mean to trouble you again.
Don't
mention it. Besides, it seems you've got a lot on your mind, and we'd like to help.
Oh? Is it...
Hey, get out! You shouldn't be around here! I'm sorry, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Fungi don't usually come near this place. Last warning! Get out before I kick you out, you hear?
Hang on. I think it's trying to tell us something.
But Great Dendro Archon, it's a monster!
Please, don't worry. I think I understand. Seems that it wants us to follow it. You can understand it? Even though different creatures have varying habits and ways of communicating, the emotions we experience are all the same. I can feel its anxiety and fear. It's in dire need of our help. Well, fungi are kinda cute, but...
So, I'm laughing because she's like, Nahida just went and and then spoke about emotions, and I just went into a long thread of mind versus mind, the connection between mind and emotions in this sort of media. And I'm like, I mean, I may be wrong because I'm likely missing a lot of points here, but it's a theme that's really common to see, and this is completely unrelated, but I was like, the guard was kind of kicking it's a monster, kick the fungus, and I was like, I was kind of remember if sometimes when sometimes I do read fan fiction, I'm not a fan of shipping myself, but sometimes I just read fan fiction for the sake of let's see what other people in how other people interpret this character and stuff. And there was this, and this is going to sound like, but there was a really a good one featuring Alhaitham accidentally being turned into a fungus by an abyss mage, and I was like, oh, and of course not being able to communicate except by this sort of thing. And I was like, and I saw the fungus, and I was like, oh god. So unrelated, but it made me think of it. It was a really good read. Okay, so Bumblehead is a really nice fungus. You know, I hate that name. I have to say, I wanted to name in the event with the fungi. I wanted to give the fungus my own names. I name in every single game of Pokemon I played. I name every single one of my children. Like they each have their own name, in which I put a lot of thought and care, and the most Genshin allowed me to do was to choose from a list of names that were all lame as hell, and I was like, if you're going to make a Pokemon like tournament, let me choose my own names, not these. But anyways,
that's true. Okay, let's go take a look. All right, lead the way, little fungus.
Okay.
Although they all look about the same, some Fungi are friendly, while others are super aggressive and attack anyone they see. It can't be helped. Perhaps in their eyes, humans are like fierce monsters as well. After all, they can't distinguish which human behaviors are hostile or not, and it'd already be too late for them once humans have drawn their weapons. Hence why they tend to strike first, rather than waiting. That's not too different from how humans think sometimes. That's what I meant by shared emotions.
What do you even know, Paimon? You're not even human, you're just a floating pixie. Well, just between quotes. Oh.
It appears it was in a hurry because of this unconscious fungus.
The other.
Seems like they might be family. So maybe this fungus wanted to bring Nahida here to help its family member. Probably. Although fungi are simple creatures, they're very sensitive to elemental power. Maybe it noticed me on my way back and thought I'd be able to help. I'll take a look. I should be able to help if it's just a common illness. What is it, Nahida? Strange. Very strange. This fungus didn't develop from a spore. It's an elemental life form. Huh? An elemental life form? Yes. Although the fungi you normally see are capable of using elemental powers, they're merely borrowing elemental power from nature around them. As for this fungus, it has elemental power flowing through it. Definitely not anything like your typical fungus.
So, tying this back with, I'm going to go into another of my. Sorry, I said no. So knowing by this explanation, yeah, we know that the fungi can use different elemental attacks. But it makes me see she basically came from how should I put this? She basically came from having said that humans and fungi and other monsters by extension, they're not so different. Basically, paraphrased. And it makes me think that the way she described it is like, yeah, you see fungi using elemental attacks because they draw from the powers of nature. And it makes me think of people that can use visions, in that they by themselves are not like elemental beings, but they can draw upon one element because of their vision. And and yeah, I mean, it's not like, for example, I mean, we see Nahida here, not even Nahida, maybe it's just, I don't know, Nahida is the Dendro Archon, right? And she's basically a god, the god of the Dendro element, but we don't see her shining Dendro like this fungi here, so there's maybe even the gods are kind of borrowing that power. To be fair, she doesn't have her noses anymore, so there's that. But she's still able to use elemental powers, just like Zhongli and Venti and the Raiden Shogun. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. That's a thought that just occurred to me. That of course the traveler, Lumine here in this case, is another different. The traveler doesn't really adhere to any explanation into that right now, because they are the sender, laws don't really apply the same as the rest of the people. Also, also she's like, she and Ether are basically like, I don't know, Starkin. So it's like, and Paimon here, she is another mystery on her own. But anyways, so it only looks like a fungus.
Exactly. This is very interesting. I've never seen anything like it.
So this is a first even for Nahida.
But that's not all. There's a large void within its elemental power. The void is stopping the elemental power from flowing normally, which must be why it fainted.
So do you think it'll wake up if we can fill the void?
Yes, and I just so happen to be good at this sort of thing. I'll see what I can do right away. My power was compatible. Looks like everything is fine now.
Lord of Dendro.
Oh.
Is it really the Lord of Dendro? Oh, I can't believe the Lord of Dendro saved me. Thank you, as well as the stranger and creature next to you.
Ah! It can talk?
Oh, I didn't expect such a strange creature to make a sound like that. Seems I'm just as shocked as you are.
What? Of course Paimon can talk. Paimon isn't a strange creature. Paimon's just... Paimon!
Hello, Paimon. I am not yet able to evaluate an organism's intelligence from its appearance. I will only know you are able to speak once you have spoken.
Oh, well, no need to take it seriously. It's no big deal. But does Paimon really look so dumb that people might think Paimon doesn't know how to talk?
See, this is one of these instances in which I wish Alhaitham was here, because the sassy nuke that would prompt this question would be glorious. Oh god, I really love Alhaitham and Paimon's interactions. I know people think that. Usually people think that he hates Paimon, but I don't really think so. I'll go into that probably. It's going to probably be featured in the upcoming event, so I will save those comments for the event. But but really, it's like, yeah. I don't think it's dislike hate. It's just, anyways.
You misunderstand, Paimon. A mouth is used for eating, breathing, and other functions that are more important than speaking. So a creature may not speak, even if it has a mouth. I've never seen a creature like you before, so I dared not make the assumption that you could speak. Even if you do possess a number of human traits, it is still very common for creatures to have similar external forms but completely different interiors, just like fungi and slimes.
Did this fungus study at the academia? It seems even more talkative than Paimon.
You're not a fungus, are you?
That's correct. This might be surprising to you, and I'm sure that you must have questions. Let's find somewhere else to talk. It might startle my fellow family members if I speak too much using this strange voice. Me. It says that it's very thankful for your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was confident that I knew of all the creatures in Teyvat. Even if there are ones I've never seen with my own eyes, I thought I possessed all the relevant knowledge about them. However, even if I were to lay out the traits of all elemental life forms, you don't seem to match any of them. What are you? And where did you come from?
I come from an ancient race. We have existed for a very long time, possibly longer than any records in existence. My home was filled with flowing water and great mountains. Lush grass covered the land, and my family and I lived in bliss and happiness. Until the apocalypse came and changed my home forever. A horrifying power consumed all there was. The seeds of catastrophe nested and grew inside of us, twisting and warping us, causing us to lose control. We were victims of the apocalypse, yet in time, we also became the apocalypse itself.
The apocalypse? I'm not sure what it means either. It sounds like some kind of old fable.
It's a long and complicated story. It will take me some time to explain it clearly.
Don't worry, we'll listen. Please continue.
I was lucky and managed to survive. Afterward, I left with some of my family and came to Sumeru to search for a way to rescue my homeland. We came in contact with many species and learned from their cultures and knowledge, hoping to understand the truth behind the apocalypse. We later found out that humans know the power of the apocalypse and refer to it as forbidden knowledge.
So, forbidden knowledge. So, okay. So, so if forbidden knowledge comes from the abyss, is the apocalypse then related to the abyss? I mean that's what I understanding as of now. I thought that I at first when it was introducing itself as an ancient race, I was thinking of the Sealies, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the Sealies aren't technically elemental, right? Well, they are actually, because there are Pyro Sealies in Dragonspine. And there are Electro Sealies in Inazuma, so maybe? Anyway.
Your home was destroyed by forbidden knowledge? Does that mean you're from the desert?
It said that they are looking for a way to save their homeland, but the catastrophe of the desert should have ended a long time ago.
The Lord of Dendro is correct. We are not from the desert. I would very much like to tell you the location of my homeland, but unfortunately, I've forgotten. That may sound a little odd, as it is very important to both me and my family.
Yes, how could you forget?
I am a life form that was contaminated by the apocalypse. A part of my knowledge and memory was taken away as the contamination inside of me was purged.
I get it now. So the void of elemental power was left behind from when the forbidden knowledge was purged.
When Kalvada was raised.
I'm sorry. I hadn't considered that kind of possibility.
That's okay. Lord of Dendro, there is no need to apologize. Without your help, I would have lost more than just my knowledge and memory. And not only did you save me, but you've also already rid the world of the remaining forbidden knowledge, right?
That's right. The forbidden knowledge is no more, and your homeland should be safe now.
My home should be safe now. We can go home. For the longest time, this moment has only seemed like a dream. I never knew it would become a reality so quickly. I was unable to fulfill our calling. I never found a way to save my homeland, and I have even forgotten where it is.
It's not your fault. You've already done everything you can. Every species paid a grave price in the fight against forbidden knowledge. This is not a responsibility you should carry on your own. You mentioned that there were other survivors besides yourself. Where are they? Maybe they'll remember.
The apocalypse put us through immense pain. Many of my family members have already met their end. I'm not sure who else is still alive.
Don't worry, I should be able to find them. Just leave it to me. My familiars will take the rainforest, And as for the city, there are a few nice kids who should be willing to help.
Your familiars?
Mm-hmm. They're a group of lovely little creatures. They're just a bit timid around strangers.
Like the bird we always see whenever
Give me
you're
a
around,
moment.
Nahida.
I'll contact them right now. That should do it. It may take some time to find them, so let's wait for a bit.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. We all believe that you will keep your promises. The moment I saw you when I awoke, I had a feeling you were here because of the agreement.
Agreement?
You might not remember, but this is a prophecy that we deeply believe in. That the Lord of Dendro will bring us home once the catastrophe comes to an end.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry. There are also some blurry segments in my memory as well. But I'm very concerned about your homeland. This is something I should help with. It's really no trouble to me at all.
Would you all be willing to come with me somewhere as we wait? The more family members that can return home with me, the better.
But didn't you say that you don't know where they are?
Yes, but I know their end. I will explain it to you along the way.
The end. So yeah, that's interesting and not and quite ominous. But I like ominous things. Makes brain work. So so basically, Nahida. I guess Nahida doesn't remember because that was something that Vukalbata may have promised, but we know how that ends, so...
There's something that I'm very concerned about.
The crystal is a very interesting thing, as of now. But the fuzzy memories... I mean, the crystal... Considering, like, you know, the crystal could be like a memory backup from Vukalbata, like Nahida herself did for the Wanderer. But I think it kind of defies the purpose because Kalibata wanted everyone to forget about her existence. So it would be kind of contradictory, unless it was something that just remains as a residual thing that Kalibata had no control over. That is a possibility. But I'm interested. I mean, the fuzzy memories are actually... I don't really want to say they're like clear in my mind as of what it is, because this is this could take a twist at any given moment. So I'm going to go with the crystal for now.
Yes. I didn't mention it just now, but do you remember when I told you that the power in the crystal is very similar to mine, yet also different? The elemental power inside the crystal is completely identical to that of the fungus.
What?
So there's a connection between the crystal... the elemental being.
Exactly. The prophecy that it mentioned was probably an agreement that I made with an elemental life form that once represented its race. I had to deal with the forbidden knowledge to save their homeland. The process, however, took away some of my memories. That sequence of events would explain the persistent feeling that I had unfinished business.
Makes sense. Too bad it's unable to tell us more.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of a place that fits the description of its homeland, but I'm unable to come up with anything.
So, I have thoughts, but let's continue.
Agreed. I really want to send them home, so they won't have to wander around anymore.
Okay.
The road here is a little rough. I'll lead the way.
I'm going to have to throw hands.
Don't worry, Paimon can handle any road!
You float, Paimon. Don't give me that.
Enemies!
Yeah.
You're up, traveler!
So, yeah, I did. I'm going to have to throw hands.
Everyone hold hands!
Okay. Fine.
Stabilize!
Shine down!
Okay.
Amazing. With such skills, you all would have definitely been able to find a way to survive the apocalypse.
Hey! Paimon has been meaning to ask. You all didn't originally look like this, did you?
No, we didn't. The appearance of our kind will change according to the environment. After communicating with various living organisms in Sumeru, we discovered that fungi are the life form most adapted to live in these lands. Thus, we gradually took the form of fungi and became a part of their group.
It's hard to believe that's even possible.
The most important instinct any life form possesses is adapting to the environment. I don't think that should surprise you, Paimon. Your hand is shaped like that for a reason, so you are able to grip and use tools more easily.
Evolution?
The reason why fungi absorb elemental power is to blend with the environment and fend off natural predators. We are dendro life forms, one of the most ancient life forms in this land. That is why we are so adaptable.
So you mean, if Paimon wanted to, Paimon could change into a different form as well?
Not as freely, I'm afraid. You would require a long time to make that happen. Although this is common sense to us, it is still extremely difficult to explain. Putting it as simply as possible, changing form requires energy, and energy comes with time. You cannot make a sprout grow into a giant tree instantly, nor can you force a tree to bear fruit overnight.
I see. Humans have a term for this.
Actually evolution,
It's called growth.
Yeah.
Ah, you're so smart,
But yeah,
Nahida.
growth could-
Paimon gets it now.
So, so I get. It's not wrong per se. It's just a lesser scope. Growth would be more like growth as a person, as we mature, growth as a society, growth as a civilization. But those are very in the scope of existence. Those are very, very minor things, like in comparison to the evolution of a species. Like, for example, we are more or less the same species that we were 20,000 years ago. We are Homo sapiens, and there were the Neanderthal, there were before other human species that were less evolved. Well, actually, this is a discussion for this is really a kind of not doesn't really apply, but like the Neanderthal, they actually had a bigger cranial capacity than the Homo sapiens, and if they haven't gone extinct for whatever reason, they might have accomplished more things in time in terms of evolution and in intellectual capacity, or as rational beings, since rationality it's like your cranial capacity. It's not exactly a it's not necessarily a. It doesn't apply to everything, but in like, so to speak, the more room your brain has to grow bigger, the more efficient it is. But this doesn't apply to every single species, even though you do hear more. If you're into animals, like not. If you're into animals, I mean, like, if you like learning about animals, it's often said that animals with smaller brains are less intelligent. And yes, that's true, but yeah, there's also some other animals with fairly standard size brains that I don't know. I think it's there's definitely a correlation between the size of your brain and your evolution in terms of rationality, but it's not a golden rule, so to speak. And I'm not an expert, so don't take my words as gospel of anything, because I would, to be sure of this, I would have to consult reliable sources. Then, and not every scientist agrees on has the same opinion on these things. So it's like we can't, as a rule of gold. This is kind of like my advice. All I've said right now is basically, it's just my general culture speaking. But as a golden rule, don't believe everything you read, even if it comes from the highest sources, most respected sources. This is not to say that don't believe. It's not like, I'm not saying that like don't believe everything's a lie. No, it's just that critical thinking is a really important thing to have, and questioning everything is like probably one of the most important something that we should teach children, and like in everything, don't be scared to question everything that is stated, because if we don't ask questions and we take something for granted, then where does that lead? It's like a blocked off road if we can't start asking questions. If we can't keep asking questions on something that's apparently solved, and that limits. It's kind of it's kind of amusing. I'm touching upon this in Sumeru, and this is becoming a bit philosophical. So yeah, please ignore my rants. I just have thoughts. Give me a moment. So yeah, think for yourself.
Growth. I see. Yes, then this is what you would call growth. A most beautiful word. I shall enjoy it more as we walk.
And the whole thing I wanted to...
How much farther is it?
We're about halfway there. You're doing great, Paimon. Do you need me to carry you on my back?
Huh? Oh no, Paimon was just curious. Paimon isn't that tired.
You seem to enjoy taking care of others.
You think so? Does the Lord of Dendro need to be carried?
Nah, Nahida carries.
That would be awkward, wouldn't it? Why don't you fly up and sit on top of my head?
We can figure out who'll carry who later. We have monsters here!
I think we may have a different understanding of carrying someone. No matter whether it's tired or not, my child is always happy when I put it on my back and give it a ride.
Child? You mean the fungi we ran into earlier?
Yes, one was my friend, and the other was my child.
Why can't your kid speak?
Because it's just a fungus. I don't want my presence to change or affect the original state of the fungi species here. However, it is slightly different from an ordinary fungus. It seems to understand some human language, so I gave it a name.
Oh, then it must be a really cute name. You know, like Bongo Head.
No, please.
You have an odd taste for names.
Thank you!
Huh? Paimon thinks that name is great.
And you're wrong.
Strange and cute at the same time. It's a name only Paimon would be able to come up with.
That's right.
The name I came up with was not as creative as Paimon's. I learned it from an adventurer. Its name is... I'm sorry, but I've forgotten.
Oh.
Seems like I've forgotten many important things.
So basically, so what I'm taking from here is basically these elemental beings. They keep being like elementals. It's kind of redundant. But anyway. But when they adapted into this environment, they can procreate or, well, reproduce the fungi way, I guess. That's why I remember that Nahida said that when we meet the fungus first, it seems that was it the first fungus? I don't recall. But anyways, Nahida mentioned something about not being born from a spore, but having a different origin. I guess she was talking about this elemental, but I will have to recheck. But if so, it's basically a higher being mingling with lesser beings, like in a hierarchy of sorts of nature, and the fungi that results is as the kid of this elemental is not the highest, so it's not like so I don't really want to, but so it's still a fungus at the core, but it's more, it's not, I mean, it's how should I put this? It's like more evolved than the other fungi in that it can understand to a degree human speech, and this makes me think of some apocrypha texts on Hebrew texts and stuff about the origin of humans. This is a bit. Basically, there's some texts about angels that committed that one of the reasons that angels were became demons was because they mingled with humans and procreated with them and taught them stuff, and they became the humans as we are today because we learn, amusingly enough, forbidden knowledge from them, and they were punished and became fallen angels. All of this is kind of bring me to evolution and I mean, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yes, I must remember it before I return. It's just as important as my homeland.
Okay.
Yes, this way. We're almost there.
Got dark. Oh, is it because it's a withering zone? No. Oh, yes, it is.
It's the withering.
Oh.
Yes, I have heard humans also call it that before. It's the last form we take when we are at the end of our life.
Paimon doesn't understand.
It's trying to say that when they've suffered enough and reached the end of their life, they become a tumor of the withering.
Yes, I would have also suffered the same fate if it wasn't for the Lord of Dendro's help.
So, this is how the withering is formed?
Previous research has revealed that forbidden knowledge is the root cause of the withering. But even if forbidden knowledge has been completely removed, its influence still remains, which is why the withering remains even after forbidden knowledge has disappeared. They've been tormented by forbidden knowledge for a long time. It's understandable that they will eventually become the withering. But what a sad and pitiful end.
When I left my homeland, flowers like these filled the fields. Each bloom represented an individual life. They grew in the pristine lakes, in the fertile soil, in my home, and in the homes of my friends. They grew everywhere, until the world suddenly lost all its color and became tainted and murky. But it's all right. Our life essence, elemental power, still resides in this flower. After an adventurer clears the withering, I will quietly draw near the area. If I can sense the elemental power of my companions, then I take them with me.
But that would mean the effects of forbidden knowledge could have...
It's okay. That's not important anymore. I just hope that they can all make it back home. It's not right to leave them to simply perish in the open like this. Now that we finally have the chance to return home, each one I manage to bring back will make me that much happier.
I understand. Just leave it to us.
Okay.
So you're worried about me? It's fine. Forbidden knowledge doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
It's natural to want to be overcautious when dealing with a highly venomous snake, but when all that's left is its skeleton, there's nothing to worry about.
I agree with Lumina here, like, if you say so. Like, I'm thinking of Orobashi in what's the name? That island in Azuma. Like, yeah, it's a skeleton, but there's still, I mean, I don't know how I can't remember really well in Azuma lore, so you'll forgive me about that. But there's the fact that there's still the crystal marrow that you can only harvest around Orobashi's corpse. And I think the Terasuna is the whole thing about Terasuna's thing that makes people go mad. Like this, I don't recall the name, but I think Terasuna is not. It's like the other island, not the one that has Orobashi's course. And I don't even know if it does have to do with Orobashi. But yeah, it's not really the best example, Nahida.
Paimon doesn't get what you two are talking about, but we're all ready to go now, right? Then let's do this. We've dealt with the withering countless times already.
Okay, so I really don't like dealing with the withering, but I got Royal Nahida. Okay.
Everyone hold hands!
What is she using?
Yeah.
Oops. Oh. The ship's on.
Illusion shattered!
So, this trail Nahida, what does she have? Oh, she has her weapon, okay. I can't really afford Nahida. I don't have anything time.
Here you are.
Back here, sure. Okay, let's see. Okay. That's recipe 1. That should be no this one. Where's the third one? Oh, there. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh.
Hey!
I'm saying okay, like. So.
Shine down!
One and okay. No big problem.
As I expected, it's the last of my kind that I'm aware of. So it wasn't able to make it to the end. If only it could have held on just a little longer.
I hope that you will be free of this pain after returning home.
Just thinking about how many elemental life forms have turned into tumors of the withering makes Paimon sad.
It's okay. As long as elemental power still exists, then we will still be around. An external form is but a gift of time. Through growth comes change, and even abandonment of previous forms. However, our true nature is not so easily affected.
It wouldn't have come to this if we were able to cure them earlier. But I will cure all of them. Even if it's just for the sake of the rainforest and all the life forms that live in it.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. It was a wise choice for us to place our trust in you and wait.
Hold on. I think I got something. Oh, I see. Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. So, they found a fungus that matches the description I gave them.
Oh, her familiar.
It's currently unconscious.
It must be in a similar situation as I was. We should hurry and go take a look.
Okay, follow me.
Okay. But first, the chest.
Don't let any of it roll away now.
Don't call me out like that, Nahida. I swear he really knows my uncanny ability to, to drop the to let chest contents roll away. Like, I'm not doing a lot of exploration on screen, of course, but like the other day that I was exploring a new area, and I happened to open a chest, and well, it went down the cliff.
We're close now. It's just a little further inside.
But there are so many fungi here. They're probably all ordinary fungi, right?
If we startle them, we won't able to win the fight. And they will probably want to drop the things I need for both Baizu and Kabe, so... Sad.
Yeah, they won't be happy to see us.
No fighting. These are all its family. Although we belong to different species, we've spent a long time living among the fungi. They are very important to us. They can be reasonable, as long as we try to communicate.
What should we do? You're the only one who can make it through, right? But you'll need Nahida's power if you want to save that fungus.
I've got an idea. Can you teach me how to change into a fungus?
You want to transform into a fungus? But we don't have time for growth.
Nahida is a god. Changing into a fungus should be a piece of cake for her.
Even gods can't bend the laws of time so easily.
Then we'll have to enter with the risk of being noticed. We may not be able to avoid a fight. But if spending some of my power will guarantee the safety of you and its family, then I'm willing to try.
All right. You have great elemental power, so you may be able to do it. You will have to use power equal to that which is required to break through the limitations of time. I will lend you the relevant knowledge that I have. It should make your transformation process a little easier.
All right, I'm ready. Changing into a fungus should be quite an interesting experience.
Lord of Dendro, this is nothing to joke about. I am extremely serious about this.
As am I. I'm not joking at all.
All right. Let's not get hung up here. If it's really possible to turn into a fungus, then why don't we give it a try now?
Okay. Good luck, Lord of Dendro.
Oh. Okay.
Wow! You really turned into a fungus!
How does it feel?
It's actually not too bad. My perspective in this form isn't much different from usual. The unconscious fungus is just below here. Can you all help me determine which one it is?
Oh, how do we do
Elemental
that?
sight?
I'll get close to them while you make your way over from above. You should be able to identify them using elemental sight since they're elemental life forms. Then, all you have to do is repeat the correct answer in your mind. As long as I'm able to see you, then I'll be able to hear your answer.
Okay, got it.
Let me lure away the fungi up top and make way for you.
All right, good luck, Nahida. Let's go, Traveler.
Okay.
There's a fungus on patrol in the center there. It looks pretty vigilant, so I'd better go around it. Why is it reacting like that? Uh-oh, the fungus on patrol noticed me.
F. I suck at these things. This is basically the repeat of Isaac leading the girls away. Is that this time we're actually controlling Nahida, the real one?
There's a fungus on patrol in the center there. It looks
Okay, let's try this way.
It seems they didn't notice me. It seems that fungus won't be moving for the moment. I should hurry and make my way through.
Okay. Go on.
This is the spot. There are several fungi here. I'll hide and wait for the traveler to catch up.
Okay. Yeah, as I suspected.
Ah, so this is the one. Understood.
It's laying down, it wasn't really difficult to guess which one. Then their companion regained consciousness and never falling over the guard.
Nahida? What's wrong?
I never knew that it was so tiring to change forms like that. I even used the techniques that it taught me. Seems like its warnings were not unfounded.
The power of time accumulates slowly and goes unnoticed. A great price is to be paid if you wish to perform drastic changes instantly. Thank you for everything you've done. All seems to have gone according to plan. Now, we simply wait for it to wake up.
Who are you? I apologize. Language is not easy. Need long time.
It's okay, I have good news. Let me explain it to you the fungi way.
After the recital.
Apocalypse ended? Go home now?
Yes, unfortunately I've forgotten where home is. I was hoping you still remembered.
I remember.
Really? That's great!
Home. Dendro Dragon.
Ooh. Dendro Dragon.
Dendro Dragon. Ah, yes, the Dendro Dragon. I'm sorry, I just got so excited. I've probably never expressed such emotions before. But yes, our home is the Dendro Dragon.
Oh, wait a minute. Paimon's confused. Do you mean the Dendro Dragon as in an elemental dragon? Like Dvalin?
Yes, they're both dragons, but Apep, the Dendro Dragon, has been around for longer and has accumulated dense elemental power. But I don't quite understand. Why would you say that your homeland is a dragon?
Because we live inside the Dendro Dragon.
The Dendro Dragon. Inside. Very big. Mountains. Water. Trees. Us.
There is an entire world inside the Dendro Dragon's body. The Dendro Dragon nurtured the earliest life forms and protected us inside of itself. It once told us in a majestic voice that once we finally matured, we'd be able to start life in a new world. However, that day never came. Our homeland was the greatest place there ever was before the apocalypse arrived.
Paimon's still confused.
Like Dendro slimes giving birth to smaller slimes. And we don't go please don't go into slimes because that's another whole can of worms.
Yes, a very good example. It appears that you're much smarter than Paimon. The only difference is that the Dendro Dragon is much, much larger than any Dendro slime.
The shape.
Wait, then if that's the case, doesn't that imply that Apep has also been contaminated by forbidden knowledge?
Yes, that is correct.
Great.
What has suddenly made you look so worried, Lord of Dendro? I haven't seen this expression on you before.
Apep is the most adaptable life form in the world. The forbidden knowledge should have become a part of its body a long time ago. Which means that if all the forbidden knowledge has been eliminated,
And a big void will also form inside the dragon!
I'm afraid so. Its body and soul have probably been in terrible shape for some time now. No wonder I haven't seen a pep for so long. But how did it get contaminated? Was it due to the destruction of King Deshret's civilization? But anyway, a pep disappeared and has been gone ever since that time. It's been enduring unimaginable pain all the while. It's probably in pain as we speak.
So, here's the thing. So, let me go a bit into Egyptian mythology. A pep is the snake that, for reference, every night the boat of the sun, Ra, goes when it goes at night. It goes into the underworld, and it's basically, I think, the entourage of Ra is God Seth, and I don't know who else is there too. But it's basically an entourage during the boat of the sun goes into the underworld, and they have to fight a number of evil creatures in order for the sun to rise again. And the last enemy they have to face is the snake Apep, who will try every night to devour the sun, Ra. And usually it's God Seth, the one who is basically the one who performs the better in battle and stuff. So basically Ra and Apep are basically arch enemies, because Apep every night tries to devour Ra, to devour the sun, and the dawn never comes again, and it's because of this constant battle and they prevailing each night. Of course, Apep is revived every single day, and the cycle continues on and on and on. And yeah, basically they have to. It's a battle for a new dawn, for a new morning. And if Apep were to prevail, then the world would be consigned to eternal darkness. So basically, yeah, it's kind of interesting that Apep is. I mean, yeah, it's a snake. Basically, I mean, it's a dendro dragon. Yeah, it's. They call it a dragon. It makes me remember. Now I kind of remember that Nahida used the analogy of a venomous snake. And we're talking snakes again here because a pet is a snake, even though it's kind of usually in video games and some media, to associate reptiles with dragons, which I mean, fair. Yeah, basically. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued as of. It's kind of amusing considering Apep is basically in Egyptian mythology would be the enemy of all life, because dendro, we associate with plants. We could call it the element of plant, but it's actually closer to the element of life. And basically Apep, its role in Egyptian mythology, it could be as an enemy of life, but it's also what allows the cycle to continue. Egyptian mythology can be a bit complicated, but yeah. So I'm kind of intrigued as of why Apep, of all the dragon references or elements they could have gone for Apep, and it's the dendro dragon. Yeah, well, yeah, Sumeru and all that stuff, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, so Steven the dendro dragon. Yeah.
Yes! How could I have forgotten? If the dendro dragon fails to hang on, the elemental power inside it will no longer be able to maintain its form, and will all be dispersed. Dendro elemental power of that concentration will cause the rainforest to overgrow. Giant trees will completely block out the sun. Plants and humans will fight over oxygen. Sumeru will no longer be suitable for sustaining life.
So see, this is another way. I was ruminating on this, and this is another way of like this interpretation is valid because completely block out the sun would be like plunging Sumeru into eternal darkness. Plants and humans will fight over oxygen. Basically, it would basically asphyxiate everyone as an enemy. Like when life itself becomes its enemy, and it's kind of see, this is why I should wait before blurring my thoughts.
Hey, what about the crystal? Why don't you show it to them and see if they know anything about it?
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. We don't have time to panic. Have you two ever seen anything like this before?
No.
Its power feels very familiar. Like something from our homeland, but I don't know what it is. I'm sorry our memories aren't very reliable.
It's okay. I'll contact my helpers just as I did before and see if they can locate your other family members. I'm counting on you all. Your info is crucial to us now. Let's wait for their reply again, though I know waiting can feel unbearable at a time like this.
Thank you. Family bringing fruit.
I explained to them that you aren't hostile. After seeing you save it, its family is very grateful to you.
Go home, thief. Hard decision. Don't know. They are weak. I worry. If waiting, then I hope.
Don't worry. I understand what you are trying to say. Family is very important to us, no matter when we were actually family. It has done a lot to protect this territory and can't help but worry now that it's about to leave. Can you do one last thing for it while we wait?
Of course. I can relate to how it's feeling. I need to organize my thoughts as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Tend soil. Food. Don't like plant invasion.
There are two things that it wants you to do. One is to look after the land that the food is grown in, and the other is to drive away the plants that are trying to invade the area.
Soil. There. First. Seed. Here.
Paimon understood that. No need to translate. We'll take care of it right away.
Thank you so much for your willingness to help. In the meantime, I'd like to tell it the things we experienced on the way here. Sharing knowledge is a habit of ours.
Apologies.
Leave. Worried. Want to stay. Preparation almost complete.
Immediately kind of offered. Then I will take them. I would be if I don't. So said something about the farmland. So So here's the thing. I was thinking about this. Seems like this part of the quest seems like an inconsequential thing, but after Nahida basically told us that everything in this world to be protected against changes in the elemental can be read as an allegory analogy. I'm thinking about first it caused me to overthink everything I come across in Genshin as a reference allegory to something, and okay, so plant seed. Plant in a field to grow food that the fungi enjoy eating, but there will be any fungi to remember how to till the fields in the future. So, planting a seed is kind of a metaphor for some things. Like, if I were to describe it, it's like planting a seed. So if I were to describe the metaphor of planting a seed, it's like hoping it will become something in the future. But hope alone can't make a seed grow, since it needs care and attention and action, basically. Like, hope is meaningless if you don't take action. And planting seeds, planting hope, does not mean... I mean, it has no future if the coming generations don't keep nurturing this dream or this hope to become into something. So this is like the metaphor I'm seeing here. As of what exactly applies to, I can tell, but this I can tell that it's a metaphor used for these things. And then the fungi said something about plants coming to invade. So I'll touch on that later. But yeah. Okay. So watering the farmland. Oh, I have to use hydro. Okay. I should have Yelan, but I think I'm going to go with Kokomi.
All is accounted for. Let's move.
Okay.
Trust me, we planted all the seeds. It's time to handle the invading plant life.
So, invading plant life. This is basically. I wouldn't have thought of the seed thing as I did if not because of
would be nice.
If not for the following instruction that was. This is going to ask me to pyro because it is. Damn it. Oh, it's not. No, it's so. Okay, so this is interesting. These are whopper flowers. So when it came about invading life, it makes me think of the origin of Genshin Impact lore, as of how it first, like in Kanomiya and the book Before the Sun and Moon, and how it first, how the world Tevat was first inhabited by dragons or bishops, and then the first who came was basically Phanes, and the Four Shades fought the dragon sovereigns, and if Phanes and the Four Shades are basically the heavenly principles, as Nahida speculated that, well, the first descender, they're basically aliens invading Tevat, but eventually prevailed and defeated the dragons. I don't think they killed them, but at least, or either put them to servitude, or seal them away. But then there's also, and basically humans who are implied to be Phanes' creation, of made in his image. I don't know if Phanes is referred as a male or a female or a genderless entity. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't have the book. So basically, humans and Fanes and the Shades were basically invaders to Tevat, and we're dealing with dragons, so this would make sense. But also then the second who came were also invaders to Fanes' civilization of humans, and they're supposed to be defeated. I know there's a couple theories saying that Fanes was defeated and the second who came are impersonating him, or that Fanes defeated the second who came, who may have become the Abyss or not, I don't know. But I think there's the artifact set of the Flower of Paradise one that has the goddess of flowers Cyril in Dashred, that it was due to fear that the master of the four shades, being Fanes, grew fearful of war and conflict brought by I think it was the knowledge brought by the second who came, which would align with the Abyss and forbidden knowledge. But yeah, all these things are like very vague as of now. We basically have only the larger picture. But the thing that it's basically the Whooper flowers are basically monsters posing as flowers, and yeah, they define us as invaders, as invader species, invasion, whatever. So it's kind of like this is different from there's also sitting a difference between the elemental beings and the Whooper flowers here. The Whooper flowers are invaders who threaten the fungi or the plant life, but the elemental beings adapted in order to mingle with these lesser beings. So there's a difference between joining a community and trying to invade it, and I don't know exactly where this is going to lead and if it's going to be answered in this quest line, but it's really interesting. Anyways, we're going to deal with Whooper flowers, so
It wasn't kidding when it said plants were invading!
I mean, I'm not going to take so long. There we go.
Whew! That should be all of them. That wasn't too tough.
Are you familiar here?
Yeah, I've calmed down now. But it doesn't seem like there's too much we can do until we receive some new leads.
Okay.
Can you tell us about the Dendro Dragon? We don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
Who
please.
is it?
Do tell.
And what does it have to do with King Deshret?
Well, the history of dragons starts from the very beginning of Tevat. Sumeru was Apep's territory. In those days, the lush rainforest covered the entire nation.
Oh, so there was no desert back then?
Not at first. That came when a giant spike fell from the sky, turning a huge section of the rainforest into sand. In an attempt to adapt to its new environment, Apep changed color from the emerald green of the forest to the yellow of the sand.
No wonder those two elemental life forms are always talking about the importance of adapting.
Apep has always seen itself as the master of Sumeru and has refused to recognize the new order that was established. Even now, it probably still holds great hostility toward the gods. However, powerless against the power in the sky, and then the forbidden knowledge many millennia later, it's been unable to stir up any trouble.
So, this is basically the power in the sky being Celestia, and then the forbidden knowledge. I know that this line, as face value, is talking about King Deshret and his flooding of, bringing forbidden knowledge into the world. But like I was saying before, if the second who came were the bringers of forbidden knowledge, this line would also make sense. Because it's not specifying if it's King Deshret, which is kind of what we're, because of the Archon quest, that's what we're kind of led to interpret. But at the same time, it could also mean the second who came, if it's the case and they were the ones who brought forbidden knowledge. So the good were no. They fought for 40 years, according to lore.
Conflicts between the two sides are destined to continue until a balance can be found. As far as I know, Apep had been slumbering in the desert, and King Deshret had taken a great interest in it. Maybe this is why Apep was contaminated. I'm not sure what may have led it to become involved, but rescuing it is definitely our top priority right now. The crystal that I have in my possession is probably the key that links the two matters together.
Fair. Okay, so, Withering Sound? Okay. So, yeah, sorry for blurring my thoughts, like, I'm not trying to, this is yours, this is my, and probably will remind you of stuff that if you watch other lore divers, theory crafters, it probably sounds similar to their conclusions. But anyways,
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. Family happy.
You really like them, don't you?
Family like. Do you not like your family?
That's not what Paimon meant. It's just that you guys aren't actually the same species.
It's mother though.
Does that matter? Family.
Thank you.
I like family.
Paimon doesn't quite understand.
What it's trying to say is that as long as family members get along well, then nothing else matters. You place importance on appearances, but we do not. We find the experiences, knowledge, and connections we've made to be more important. These are all things that are more reliable than mere external appearances. These are the fruits of time, and the essence of what it means to grow.
Oh, Paimon gets it now!
Oh.
Looks can always change, so what's inside of us is more important.
These are two both interesting questions to ask, because the Traveler, Ether and Lumine, we don't really know exactly what they are. Like, usually associate them with stars, and basically I came up with the Starkin term, so to speak, as of then. We know that from the first cutscene that they have wings of sorts, even though powers are sealed as of now. So we don't really know if Ether and Lumine have. Technically, they have different looks to a degree, but it's not so much of a drastic change. Paimon, though, we don't really know what Paimon really is, so it's like that's. But I think that's a kind of a given, that Paimon's look is not meant to be as she is now. So this is kind of a bait question, and the mention of the Traveler is the one that's bugging me. Also, Nahida went to. I saw her getting a message. She's basically go to check the phone. So yeah. So this is kind of a curious question. So what exactly would the Traveler, both Ether and Lumine, look like if they, in time, evolve, whatever, which is what actually the Traveler is currently doing by traveling to different nations and gaining the elemental power of each one, basically recovering all of basically restoring their powers as they once were. Consider that there's 7 elements, and each one corresponds to one of the spectrum of light. And we see them, both Ether and Lumine, which, by the way, their names are based on both terms for light-related stuff, using light powers in the first cutscene of Genshin. So yeah, basically we're restoring the light spectrum of the power of the world, of the universe, basically, as we go now. And we've got, like, I think it's we are at our 4th, like 3 to go. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to go with this.
It wouldn't matter. Paimon would still be able to recognize you right away.
Fair.
Oh? Understood. Thank you. Still nothing new from the forest. Seems like we won't be able to find your other family members for now.
Sad.
It appears we are out of leads to follow. And if no one knows how this crystal works, then a pet may be in danger.
Sorry.
It's okay. It isn't your fault. I don't think it's a coincidence that neither of you can remember anything about the crystal. Maybe it's because the crystal has a very close connection to forbidden knowledge, which causes memories of it to be unclear. And if that's the case, finding the other fungi still wouldn't help us at all.
The crystal and the apocalypse. The apocalypse and memories. Lord of Dendro, do you still remember the prophecy?
I do. What about it?
The prophecy is a story that connects events of the past and the future. A family member once said that the apocalypse is a part of us, and that there is value in preserving it. The rest of the family did not approve of its opinion at the time, so it left.
Preserving the apocalypse? Do you mean that there's still some that hasn't been eliminated?
That's not very likely. The power of Irminsul covers every inch of the land. Did the prophecy say where that family member went?
To the limitless depths east of Sumeru, a murky place that no one can return from.
Yeah, because the chasm has the seal that we saw in Perilous Trail. But how exactly the seal prevents the chasm from being affected by Irminsul? That's a really good question. And in terms of, if we equate the abyss with, let's say, between quotes, hell, the chasm would be, as in usual visual representation, visual rhetorics, the chasm would be like it's the closest to the abyss, and if the abyss is forbidden knowledge, then that's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that must be the chasm, right? But what is it doing there?
It's impossible to preserve forbidden knowledge, but what if it can be converted to a different form? I'm sorry if I'm suddenly not making any sense. However, I do think it's possible. Follow me. I'll explain it once we find that elemental life form.
I did Perilous Trail before, but I'm kind of amused right now because Nahida said I'm not making any sense right now, and I swear that I haven't looked Nahida's story quest. Okay, I'm reacting live to it. I'm just blurring thoughts as I go, but So Nahida said, so the prophecy says something about forbidden knowledge, the apocalypse, and memories, linking forbidden knowledge and the apocalypse. Sorry, forbidden knowledge and memories. That was the elemental saying it. And then Nahida said, what if forbidden knowledge could be preserved in another form? And just like we know it's possible to create a backup of memories, as we've seen this happen with the Wanderer, and the Wanderer regained his memories prior to the memory wipe. The memory write of Irminsul. And because Nahida hid his story as a backup in form of an allegory, an allegoric tale. So it could be possible by the same token, because Irminsul can only work with data as clear knowledge data, but not with allegoric tales that are so basically you have to decipher by connecting the dots instead of being clear cut. So if Irminsul is unable to rewrite allegoric tales as of actual written things in the world, that wouldn't mean that forbidden knowledge cannot be preserved in that same form, in form of an allegory of sorts. And Nahida would have reached that conclusion easily, because she is the one who actually made the allegoric backup for lost memories regarding the Irminsul. So yeah, that's where my mind is. It is right now. So yeah, I mean, could be entirely wrong, but yeah. So the deepest part of the chasm. Okay, so yeah, so this is going to. So the glowing. That's interesting, because the glowing narrows is where the mushroom, the Shamaran, was. And this area here is where the nail, where the celestial nail was. We found that one in the chasm. So yeah, is this going? I mean, when we came here with Dainsleif, this was the name of this ruins. This was supposed to be Canria. But and in Caribur, I think it was Kaya said that the nation closest to Canria was Sumeru, and we with Ida Clothar, we went into the chasm really when we found the sinner. I think it were the Carian halls of the chasm, as I recall. I think it leads back to the tunnel with the chasm. Maybe wrong, but I think it was the chasm. So yeah, I mean, this is obviously there's obviously Canria things about the chasm here. Not to mention that it's because. The ruined serpent is basically a ruin guard, and this is all Canrian technology. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I tend to ramble when I'm. I'm sorry about the rambles. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, do I have the Luminous bar equipped? Okay.
So
So that elemental life form came all the way here on its own and spent a long time by itself? Wouldn't it already have become the Withering like the others?
There is a chance that it could avoid that end, using the power of something here. I'm referring to what was used to fight against the Abyss. It once repaired the rifts of Tevat long ago. It has the ability to purify and stabilize powers that shouldn't exist in Tevat. Forbidden knowledge that its light has shone upon is kept here forever in a different form.
Oh, the oozing field. Yeah. So the lumen spar can... So first, I have my questions about being nailed, basically destroying civilizations. It's like a bit of, I don't know, some sort of a very drastic way of nuking a civilization that's been touched by some sort of festering. Though I can understand the concept, like as if a limb festers and rots, then is usually amputated, and it's a very drastic solution. But sometimes there's no other way as to preserve the rest of the body intact, using an analogy. But it comes to the question of exactly how it's all about. Anyways.
Yeah, it's just like soap bubbles that rise to the water surface.
Another strange metaphor, but Paimon somehow gets this one.
What the Lord of Dendro means is that the apocalypse was altered by the power of the giant spike and hidden within the oozing filth.
Yes, and it shouldn't be far from here. Let's go and take a look.
It's an interesting name of the quest too. What shape does the self hold? It's interesting in regards to Fontaine coming up, because these questions remind me of when it comes to, for example, water, and the fact that water can take on any form, quoting the Oceanid, can take any shape. But water can take any shape because of a vessel, as long as there's a vessel to contain it. And if humans are basically, most of humans are water, then this water, I mean, I'm but I think this is important because Dendro being life and water being what humans and most living beings are comprised of, it's kind of, I think that it's a relevant question come from Fontaine. But I don't know. It's a really interesting question, and in terms of shapes and forms, it's also material in terms of matter. But the self is it's contradictory too, because matter and the notion of self goes beyond matter, as in the mind, soul, heart, emotions, whatever. But it's linked to a shape, a physical vessel. And this is a distinction that's basically, you can find it in every single mythology, religion, philosophy around the world. And there's not really an answer to this question. So it's interesting. It's a really interesting quest name. So yeah, I'm sorry, I digressed again. I would say get used to it. Okay. Unless I do have the Longman's part. So yeah, and oh god, not the Rift Hounds.
Look, it's over there! Looks like we'll have to clear out the oozing filth in this area. You two should be able to take care of it, right?
I mean,
Yep,
yeah.
we know what to do. We'll just use the lumen stone on the oozing concretion.
Illusion shattered.
Take these things with my soul, my being. So yeah.
Oh, we finally managed to rescue it.
It should be the life form from the prophecy.
That light!
Wait, something dark is coming out.
Uh.
Something's not right.
Okay, get away from it.
What's going on? Didn't Nahida say it was purified?
Maybe it's because such a long amount of time has passed. Although the power of the oozing filth is more stable than that of the apocalypse, it is still a form of dangerous power. It might have lost its mind after being soaked in it for such a long time.
Oh no! But we still have tons of questions we need to ask.
I should be able to purge it with my elemental power. But this is our only chance.
True.
Traveler!
It's
With
okay.
reasons.
I trust your judgment. I was being a little hasty myself. Let's see if we can think of another way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! You said that the elemental power in the crystal was identical to theirs!
You want to use its power, but
The Lord of Dendro seems hesitant. I too would advise caution. It's risky to use its power without fully understanding its intended use.
Fair.
Don't understand. This no good, that no good. Save lives. Important.
Yes, I understand, but this is our only chance to return home. We cannot afford to be careless.
it's okay. There's no need to argue. I'll think of something to do about the elemental power that will be used. How about this? Traveler, you could try using it. I understand that you have an amazing resistance to forbidden knowledge.
That's one way to put it, considering the quest with Caribur and Ida. But that argument between the fungi, it was really small. It was really short. But considering this patch, I think it's going to be relevant at some point, because it reminded me of the floating hydro fungus. Well, the hydro elemental, so to speak, was advising caution and not rush into something that you don't know. It's basically the rationality speaking, and the other, the animal elemental being, was arguing. It was this. So the hydro elemental was approaching this thing with rationality, and it was a rational approach, and the animal elemental was approaching this from an emotional, from the idea that life is important, we must save it, and it kind of reminds me of the different of basically the opposition of rationality versus or if you want to call it pragmatism versus idealism, and that's basically the core of the core of Alhaitham and Kaba's dynamic. And I find it interesting considering that in the second phase we're going to formally kind of meet Kaba, and we're probably going to learn more about this dynamic, and it's really interesting because they basically represent the two schools of thought, as in, like I said, pragmatism versus idealism, and first and foremost, the two branches that verge from philosophy, from Socrates into Plato, which basically would align with Kaba and idealism, and Aristotle, which would be Alhaitham, and rationality. Stoicism is a later branch that evolved from Aristotelian doctrine, but yeah. So it's really interesting to see this being introduced here, even though it's been around anyway. It's been around, but it's not been explored as in, because basically every time it's being brought up through Alhaitham and Kaba, it's basically being playing first and foremost the roommate drama, and not go into the depths of the thing that they actually represent, the difference between schools of thought and philosophy. Also, if you want, there's also the fact that of art versus science. Even though I believe that point it shouldn't be an argument, because art and science shouldn't be opposed the way I see it. I'm an artist, but I'm also very pragmatic, so I don't really see the problem when it comes to science and art. But I personally don't see it. I can understand if you take it to a more core philosophy. So, but yeah, basically that. So it's, like I said, something that I find really interesting that they are introducing here, between the two elementals. And again, I went into a digression. Apologies for that. So, okay, let's try using this.
Don't overdo it, Traveler. Paimon will be worried.
Lord of Dendro, and you others, how long have I been waiting here?
Yay! Looks like it worked!
Lord of Dendro, here in person. Does that mean the apocalypse has come to an end? Wait, did you get smaller again?
I'm sorry. That portion of my memory is highly unreliable at the moment. I can't seem to remember who you are.
That sounds about right. After all, the purpose of my existence is precisely for those unreliable memories you speak of. You once said that the apocalypse will be completely eradicated, and that relevant memories will become unstable. Even you couldn't promise that you'd remember our agreement after those events take place. However, you are definitely someone who stays true to your word. My sacrifice is nothing compared to your resolve.
You and I made the agreement?
Yes, you used your power to protect me. That is the reason why I was able to survive here. To be honest, I'm nearing my end. I had thought I'd be stronger than this.
No one can withstand the power of the apocalypse.
In order to preserve a somewhat stable memory, I had to change the power of the apocalypse into a different form. Only the giant spike that fell from the sky was capable of doing something like that. But the moment I chose to go through with it, is the moment I lost my chance of being rescued by the Lord of Dendro. But enough about me. Lord of Dendro, let's get to the important matter at hand. As you can see, I won't last much longer.
I understand, and I'm sorry, but... Can you please tell me what this is?
This is a fire seed. It's an essential item for saving the Dendro Dragon. Thankfully, it appears to be in good condition. The Lord of Dendro and our people created this item together. It mimics how the Dendro Dragon's Heart of Oasis operates. The Dendro Dragon has been tormented by the apocalypse for far too long. It too is nearing the end of its power. However, if you are able to reactivate its Heart of Oasis using the Fire Seed, then the Dendro Dragon will begin to recover. And as a result, our homeland will return to the way it once was.
Oh, so the Heart of Oasis is a pep source of power.
No wonder the crystal was able to heal this fungus just now. That's what it's used for.
What? You used the Fire Seed to save me?
Why? What's wrong?
That's... never mind. It's not your fault. You didn't know. The Fire Seed contains a high concentration of elemental power inside of it. It's very powerful, yet fragile at the same time. It is not stable in its current form. To prevent any accidents, please don't use it again.
Since I am its creator, I will take responsibility for it. I assure you there's no need to worry.
Alright. Aside from being able to heal the Dendro Dragon, the Fire Seed can also resonate with the Heart of Oasis. In other words, you'll be able to find the Dendro Dragon by following the guidance of the Fire Seed. But you should hurry. There is little time to waste.
What about you?
Forget about me. You should hurry home now.
Everyone is returning home, including you.
As I told you, I've already lost my chance to be saved by the Lord of Dendro. Lord of Dendro, I thank you for coming to find me, and for being willing to save the Dendro Dragon. Our past has been saved, and our future has been ensured. It's enough for me, just knowing that they will return home.
Hey, wait! It turned into oozing filth.
Can you use the Lumen Stone once more? I can still feel its elemental power. Please, of all of us, it deserves the chance to return home the most.
I'm not sure if it's going to work, but... Huh?
This is a small ball of light that it left behind.
I can feel it. I can feel its knowledge and emotions. It has all returned to its original elemental form and is becoming one with the other family members. Do not be sad, my friends. Its wish has come true, and it's very happy right now.
Because its external form doesn't matter, right?
Yes, because our external form does not matter, and our home has been saved. There is nothing more important than being together with family.
Let's go!
Home.
So... oh, okay. So, all of this is reminding me of... I don't know if you guys know Wei, Theorycrafter, Genshin Impact. He released lately one very interesting video on Genshin, and it touched upon as the last part of it. I don't want to spoil the whole thing, So go check his channel, Way. Probably most people know of him. I don't know. And if by chance you come across this stream, then I know I'm just a random person streaming and not a big name. But anyways, but there was this thing about something that I think it's also been touched by Ashikai in one of her videos about because we mentioned to Al-Haytham's story quest, and Siraj, this is going to be kind of a spoiler, but let's assume you have done Al-Haytham's story quest. If not, then so Al-Haytham's story quest features Siraj, a scientist who's trying to achieve human evolution by creating a hive mind. And I recall Ashikai mentioning in one of her videos that instead of basically the comment was, even though many people are stuck on this theory about Al-Haytham being some sort of incarnation representation of King Deshret, basically Ashikai's argument was Kabe actually was the one who had, and I agree, the more elements that connect him with Al-Ahmar, which is also one of the names of King Deshret, and that Al-Haytham actually features more of the Ibis King, was one of King Deshret's three magi, and it was referred to as scribes, and who also was one of the people who advised King Deshret not to go through the Eternal Dream thing, which was basically a hive mind between all of Deshret's subjects, which is basically what happens in Al-Haytham's story quest. And Wei mentioned Al-Haytham's story quest in terms of human evolution and the hive mind. And what I'm seeing here is the elementals being... I'm not sure if the Hydro elemental is acting as the overmind here, but basically all elementals that were turned into tumors of the withering, their elemental energy or their self is going into this elemental, and it can feel them becoming one, as of one collective of in a self, which ties with the title of the quest, I guess. And it's really interesting because if this is also going to echo with human evolution, then again it would be referring to Al-Haytham's story quest. And yeah. And that basically this is also something that I've seen in other video games, and the one that I'm actually that's basically my sphere of work, as humanity being a collective unconscious connected by history, language, emotions, and memories. I mean, history is basically a compendium of memories, and also in a sense of emotions as well, even though not our emotions, but it's also said that history is written by the winners, and there's no objective history retelling, since history is a quote from another video game. History is learned, not lived. We do not live history. We know perhaps that some events we are experiencing will be taught as history, but it's not. We will not consider part of mankind's history, you know? So what we learn is what our ancestors, our predecessors left behind, and there are many different sources, and everyone will write history the way they feel history. Is very difficult, not to say almost impossible, to find a completely objective record of history. So there's so history involves both involves both memory and emotion. Even though the perfect history record would be from someone who's not involved in whatever happened, and it makes me think of Zhongli and how he told the traveler, who's basically an outlander, an outsider to Teyvat. They look human, but they're basically not human. That they would be the perfect witnesses to Teyvat's history, because in a sense too, they're the third party that's not involved and doesn't take sides. So yeah, I'm rambling again, but I had to take that out of my system. Sorry. Okay. So we have to go to Sumeru, and okay, so here to the desert. Yeah, I'm going to have Alphatham complaining about the sand. Yeah. Or not.
It's not much further. Follow me, we're close now.
Okay, basically, so Nahida prevented him from reminding me that he hates having sand in his shoes. Fine. I swear I heard that line so many
I can
times.
feel its power lingering and shifting around us. Sometimes it feels distant,
okay.
but other times it seems close. This is its way of warning us.
Okay, so
It has already noticed our presence.
so basically a pep has been. That sounds ominous. So basically we're not heading into the new desert, we're heading to Hadravameth. And I wonder if, because I know that before the new era was released, there was there was something about a pep in Hadravameth. So it makes sense. Maybe it's in the middle of that sandstorm.
We won't be able to see anything if we keep going that way.
Well,
Hey, look! Something's over there!
oh. Okay, it's massive.
We found it. A pep, the Dendro Dragon.
Paimon knew it would be big, but not that big!
Puny god, puny human, leave my domain.
Does it have a female-like voice? I mean, fair.
Frail life forms like you cannot survive in the endless sands of the desert.
It did call Lumina human, though. Though again, then again, I guess they look both Ether and Lumina look like humans. So.
A pep, we're here to save you.
I do not need saving, especially not by you, Brewer. You are no different from Amun. Both of you have only existed for a fraction of what you know as time. Yet you call yourselves lords of this land by leaning on the heavens' glow.
What are the odds that Amun's name is Amun is King Deshret being associated with? I mean, I mentioned Ra, and but the appropriate name for the Egyptian god of the sun is Amun-Ra. So what are the odds that Apep here is referring to King Deshret? Yeah, by letting the heavens glow. That's throwing shade to Celestia, basically.
You're better off paying attention to your path ahead, as you will fall where you've fallen before.
You will fall where you've fallen before. This sounds like something like a line with similar history rhyming with itself. This also reminds me of Cycle. Also reminds me of the Traveler's Journey, where the twin. Sorry, I'm blurting thoughts.
I know that you hate both gods and humans, but you've grown too weak now. Can't you let go of your hatred, even for only a moment?
Let go. For only a moment.
Not happening.
Foolish boor. You will find no gratefulness from me, even if you heal me. You will only be reviving the dragon that will destroy Sumeru and the 7 nations.
I mean, I can understand why it's pissed.
No, you're ill, that's all.
That I am. Time will bring death to all. It's unavoidable. Although I am gravely ill, my mind remains clear. I am different from the ancient dragons that came to terms with you.
So, that's basically the dragon sovereigns and came to terms. So, I was musing about Phanes and Celestia, basically, what was Celestia back then, defeating the dragon sovereigns, but theorizing that they didn't kill them, and I'm wondering if they came to truce or a pact of some sort with them, or if they sealed them away. So basically, it's kind of implying here that this was like a surrender of sorts, a rendition of sorts. No, not rendition. Surrender. Rendition is different. Sorry. Sometimes I mix Spanish and English. Apologies, not the native English speaker. Give me a moment to be back. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. We were here. We had a friendly chat with a pep. So, okay.
There's no need for this. There's no point in fighting. What we need is the truth.
The truth. The shackles that the god of wisdom cannot escape from.
So, okay, that's actually cool. Because what's truth in Tevat basically amounts to what Irminsul decrees its truth, and by extension, it's something like basically Irminsul is truth, but it can be changed, and it's subject to rewriting, and the Dendro Archon, we know that it's an avatar of Irminsul. So basically, by existence, Dendro Archon is always bound to the Irminsul, and it's going to be always affected by these shackles, as Apep put it. And we basically had in 3.2 Dottore mentioning that Irminsul has been concealing the truth of this world. When he mentioned the skies of Tibet are fake, and yeah, truth is something really interesting, and I'm again reminded of the whole character profile of Al-Haytham, and basically it's not a life goal per se, since Al-Haytham doesn't really have a particular ambition in regards to that. But if you check basically his profile, basically it's a devotion of sorts to not finding the truth, becoming as close to truth as possible. Because basically his theme is mirrors and reflections, and what lies behind the mirror, or the reflections of a multifaceted mirror, and what is the truth and what is delusion, so to speak. It's really interesting. I really don't understand why people don't really get these sort of things from Al-Haytham's character. Really, he's so interesting in terms of the themes. Anyways, I'm digressing.
I have paid dearly for the truth, and you shall do the same soon enough.
This sounds so much like a Celestia nail nuke.
Hey, don't leave! Careful, something's coming.
Ah, what is that?
Oh.
Hyman's never seen that before.
It's our family.
Oh.
Huh? They're your family too? But they don't look anything like fungi.
External form not important. Inner nature same.
The composition of their elemental power is identical to ours. In other words, they're residents of our homeland.
Is this what they've become after experiencing the apocalypse?
This is also a form of adaptation, although a most gruesome and pitiful one. Many of our family members never made it out of the Dendro Dragon. They've gradually taken this form in order to survive the apocalypse.
Is there any way to avoid fighting them?
Hey! Can you guys talk? We're here to rescue you!
They've given it their all just to survive.
They're being drawn by the fire seed. Only its power can temporarily free them from their pain.
Temporarily, though.
All that remains are the instincts to survive and search for energy needed to do so. Everything else has been discarded in the process of adaptation.
So this is the result of forbidden knowledge.
Would our world become the same if forbidden knowledge was allowed to rampage across Tibet? Like fish struggling on land, unable to find a single puddle of fresh water in the entire world.
Yeah, we can talk about this later.
Yes, but please try to be gentle with them. They are not evil in nature. All they want to do is survive.
Gather!
I see everything!
To be fair, Ellen looks like a fish.
Here you are.
That was an interesting metaphor.
Hyman thinks they used up all their strength. They don't seem aggressive anymore.
They want to go home.
Yes, it was never their intention to leave the Dendro Dragon.
Is there a way to make them revert to their elemental form? Years of torment is what turned them into their current state. Their external form has become their shackles. It seems only the Fire Seed or a Pep's Heart of Oasis can save them. But it'll be risky if we use the Fire Seed again.
Correct. We cannot use the Fire Seed again.
Everyone goes home. Not just us.
This is becoming quite the dilemma.
Yeah.
Let me think for a second.
Again, pragmatism versus idealism.
It's fine. Let's use the power of the fire seed. I can't bear leaving them in the desert like this. Don't worry, the decision is on me. I'll take responsibility for whatever happens.
Okay.
It won't require much elemental power. I'm just worried that it'll become unstable. But as long as I use my elemental power to stabilize it a little, it shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you. Sorry. Stubborn.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro.
Returning home is the most important thing to you. I've come to understand that during our travels. I'm not doing this just to protect you, but also because I hope to use you and your experience and try speaking to a pep again. After all, that giant dendro dragon is also your family. Maybe it would listen.
I will stand with you, Lord of Dendro. I will never forget your kindness.
Yes!
Thank you. Alright, here it goes.
Family. We will all be able to go home soon.
Whoa. It's shining now.
Oh. It evolved.
Endless amounts of knowledge and emotions are moving inside of me. They're all very excited.
Evolution.
To imagine such
Hive
growth
mind,
could be
human
achieved
evolution.
in such a
Yeah.
short period of time.
It's because you're carrying everyone's hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams are basically ambitions, which are visions. Okay, let's leave it at that.
Yes, finally, we can go home.
This is the last part. Let's go.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so, I can take... Let's see. Moment. Have to adjust a few things. Okay. So I don't know who is attacking me, but screw them. So yeah, it should be where Pep is. Let's see. Okay, so. I'm not going to throw hands with Halo Churro, so screw you guys. Unless they annoy me, in which case I will throw hands. So yeah.
This cave is huge. Could this be where the Dendro Dragon lives? Yeah. Who knows what's inside that cave?
Pip, maybe?
Our goal is not only to find the dragon, but to also enter the world inside of it. That will be impossible if we can't get it to cooperate with us.
But
Okay.
how are we gonna do that? It doesn't seem to want to help at all.
I'll see what I can do. Pep, I know we don't see eye to eye, and that we have a very different understanding of the world and its orders. However, we are both born of elemental power, and both suffered the torment of forbidden knowledge. We are not that different. And right now, we share a common enemy. We should not let our differences get in the way.
Wonder if the Dendro Dragon's even willing to listen.
I don't care about what you believe in, who you hate, or what you've done in the name of hatred. Nor do I expect you to be grateful. I'm here to save both you and your people. My people. They've been searching for a way to save you ever since they left their homeland. They yearn for a chance to return home. And now that everything is over, all the hatred that you harbor has lost its meaning. Rather than continuing to fight, you should consider the life you've produced.
No response.
Your eagerness to survive means that you haven't given up on that world yet.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, there's technically every life clings to life, so technically, so.
If you claim to know so much more than I, then why don't you truly think about why you want to survive? And why you're so vengeful? Please keep everyone safe. And send us to the homeland.
I think that might have worked.
Nahida, where are we? Huh? And what about the Traveler? Where'd she go?
I was only able to ensure that we made it here safely. It's possible we arrived at different locations.
Well, then let's go have a look up ahead. Paimon's feeling really worried.
Yep, let's go. I wouldn't worry too much. The Traveler's no pushover.
Paimon knows that. It's just that Paimon isn't used to not having the Traveler around. Let's hurry. She might be just up ahead.
Oh, so I'm controlling Nahida. Okay, so that's cool. Looks like stained glass, but also looks like a hive in a sense. It's really cool. It reminds me also of the wings of the wings of an insect. Oh, okay.
What's that?
That should be the heart of Oasis. All we need to do is light it with the fire seed, and it'll restore a pep with elemental power. The damage it suffered internally will also slowly begin to heal.
Then let's hurry and light it! We still need to find the Traveler!
Alright, hang on.
Wait! The fire seed! What happened?
It shattered! It was even more unstable than I expected.
But why? We barely used it!
I'm not sure. Perhaps the fire seed was only capable of protecting one person? But if I didn't use its power on everyone, there's no way of knowing where you could have been sucked into. And even if that's the case, there's no reason for it to simply shatter, unless...
Unless what?
Unless I was already in a weakened state when I created this fire seed. Which would be when we had first saved the desert.
Oh no. Wait, let's put that aside for a moment. If the fire seed has shattered, wouldn't that mean we came all this way for nothing? Oh, do you know what we should do now, Nahida? Oh, come on, Paimon, think!
Paimon thinking?
Don't worry, Paimon. This is my responsibility. The fire seed is technically just a ball of highly concentrated elemental power. Although my elemental power is slightly different than that of elemental life forms, I gained a better understanding of it when I turned into a fungus. So, all I have to do is imitate that power, while adding some of my own. And I'll be able to do what the fire seed was supposed to.
That's going to drain.
You're gonna become the fire seed?
Yeah.
Yes. It'll take a lot of power from me, but it still won't be anything compared to when I was in the desert. I might, however, become even smaller.
What happens if you keep getting smaller?
I'll become a blade of grass or a twig. Basically, I'll return to how I was first born. I will be able to unleash power beyond my limits if I can reverse the process of growth.
But you'll lose everything. You'll not only lose your appearance, but you'll lose your emotions, memories, and who knows what else?
That's all right. None of that matters compared to the dangers that a pep is facing right now.
Well, shape
No, wait! There has to be another way. Besides, what will Sumeru do if you turn into a twig?
Maybe you and the Traveler can plant me in the soil of Sumeru once it is all over. I can still communicate with the world through the forest. It's just that you won't be able to see me for some time.
You can't be serious. If the Traveler were here, she definitely wouldn't let you go through with it. If we knew this was how you were going to take responsibility, then we never would have agreed in the first place.
I'm sorry, Paimon, but we're out of options. Not all eagles who have fallen to the ground can soar in the sky once again. But if no risks are taken, then the eagle will be grounded forever.
No. Please, no, Nahida!
Lumen throwing hands.
The fire seed shattered, and Nahida's, she's...
I know. A sacrifice must be made, but not by the Lord of Dendro. We've all grown on this long journey. If the purpose of that growth was to return home, then our wishes have come true. Would you lend us your power?
You knew it would come to this. All the knowledge, language, and emotions that you have learned will be reverted into pure elemental energy. In your new homeland, nothing of who you were will remain. You won't be remembered by anyone. Is that truly the return you've always dreamed of?
Lord of Dendro, don't be sad. This is not your home. We go home. Lord of Dendro should also go home.
Hear us, please. Feel our heartfelt desires. Awaken!
Okay, time to throw hands.
To imagine such growth would be time.
Because you're carrying everyone's hopes and dreams.
Stabilize!
Illusion shattered!
Thank you for protecting me with your elemental power. Goodbye.
The missions of protecting.
We may never meet again. I will wait for her no matter how long it takes. This is the agreement we made.
So she's in the race, but she's still.
I see everything!
My fourth.
Solidify!
Everyone hold hands!
Okay. Let's see. Now it's greener.
I learned a wonderful word. It's more than light. It will be your name.
I didn't read the prompt. So revive item. We have to. Okay. There we go. Now also means we get that item. Skill issue. We'll have to listen to the theme later. Right now I'm too busy. Moving hands. It's really cool that this thing's attacks are basically DNA linking to, or take shape on the form of DNA. Helixes.
Here you are.
Basically like tying the whole See? Where this?
Stabilize!
Revival him. Revival being
memory!
There is no escape!
Another 10% so if the apocalypse but anyways, I don't really want to go into another one of
Hey! Can you hear Paimon? Say something! You fungi said that your form didn't matter, right? Then let us know that you're alright!
That's enough, Paimon.
Their knowledge, memories, and emotions have been reverted to elemental power and released. They are no longer able to respond to you. The guardians that have accompanied me for countless eras have also transformed into my elemental power, just as they did. They will be born once again now that they're one. There's nothing to be sad about.
So basically, this basically is an implosion that will become an explosion, which is basically one of the theories about the Big Bang, that it already happened. There's, I think it's one theory that many Big Bangs, or a number of Big Bangs, have already happened in the history of everything, and eventually the universe will implode, go back to the singularity, into a void and a singularity harboring everything, and there will come a time in which something will spark and it will explode, and the cycle will repeat and repeat and repeat. So yeah, it's very interesting.
But that's different! They won't ever be the same.
Paimon, we will never understand it, and it will never understand us. That's how it's destined to be.
So here's the thing. They will never be the same, but it's like the same as Nahida. Like, she's a branch that is sprouted from Rukkhadevata. And Rukkhadevata said that no, you have a different fate, so you won't become the same as I do, even though we're basically share the same origin, but you will become something that may become better, and that's how it ties with evolution. As in, they will never be the same, but they will become better and better and better with each rinse and repeat. This is where my mind is going at. Sorry.
But as long as you can be healthy again, then nothing else matters to me, Apep. Sumeru will be free from threat as long as your health is maintained.
I thought that my rage would be kindled once my power returned to me. However, what I feel now is a feeling that has long eluded me. The feeling of peace.
The forbidden knowledge influenced you ever since you were contaminated, greatly amplifying your hatred and rage.
Yes, there's no denying that. Although my hatred for that usurper from beyond the heavens still stirs deep within me, destroying you and your people serves me no purpose.
The usurper beyond the heavens is Apep referring to Deshret or referring to Thanos? This could be Celestia, but it could also be a Descender. And technically, if you associate King Deshret with the sun is also a star. And there's Lilupar mentioning that the Traveler, be it Ether or Lumine, reminds her of King Deshret. So it's interesting.
Be that as it may, my position still stands, and I will have nothing to do with you. When you inevitably perish due to your ever-expanding curiosity, I will still sneer and mock you in my heart.
That's interesting. That's basically, due to your ever-expanding curiosity, it reminds me of Al-Haytham's statement of, this was 3.1, it was one of his lines. After all, curiosity tends to be the most dangerous thing in this land. And it was basically curiosity that led to, for example, to Orbashi reading Before Sun and Moon and being sentenced to die by Celestia, right at the hand of the Raiden Shogun. So it's basically anyone that becomes close to the truth, like maybe Kanria, maybe Salvin Danir, maybe Enkanomiya, and Gurabad as well, I guess. They're because of curiosity and the thirst for knowledge beyond the boundary set, and they only met with destruction. That's really interesting.
Heesh! Who can put up with you?
I respect your decision, and with time, I will prove to you that we will not repeat our mistakes. Before you begin resting, there is one last thing I would like to know. How did you become affected by forbidden knowledge?
It's a long story. We all once believed in the distant past that only forbidden knowledge could give us enough power to defeat the heavenly principles. The Dragon King acquired the power of darkness from outside of this world and led us in a fight against the order established by the outsiders.
That's an interesting note. Nibelung. It's the first time I heard of it. The Dragon King. From outside this world. The power of darkness from outside this world unless in a fight against the order established by the outsiders. So this is likely referring to the first war between Thanos and the Dragon Sovereigns. So, but there were 7 Dragon Sovereigns. I'm not that familiar with Nibelung myself. I will have to look into it before making assumptions. All I know is that it's part of an epic. Power of darkness, that's likely the power of the abyss. From outside this world, so this power comes from alien sources, which would be the same as the Senders, which makes sense with as of why in Caribur, Pilfar Alberic mentions that Ether or Lumin, depending on who you're playing, they represented the abyss, and whoever controls the abyss controls everything. Less than 5 the order, but the outsiders being the first who came, I guess. Okay.
Dragon King?
An unimaginable war took place into that, causing destruction on an unprecedented scale. The world itself was on the verge of collapse. In war, the victor would inherit the right to shape the world, while the losers must turn into ash. But I didn't give up on searching for a way to turn the tides, even after the death of the Dragon King.
Okay, so, Pip is a survivor of this thing. The Dragon King was 1. Maybe there were 8 dragons, and Nibelung, this Dragon King, would represent the darkness, as opposed to Thanos maybe representing the light as the shining shades. If light and dark can be assumed to be elements as part of the 7 elements of the 7 then again, the 7 elements conform the light spectrum in Genshin, so all of them combined would be light, and darkness would be an antithesis of these elements? Or maybe all of the elements have their own, between quote-unquote, dark version. That's very interesting. Anyways.
As I attempted to collect more forbidden knowledge from the corners of the world, as it was on the verge of collapse, I was stopped by the giant spike that fell from the sky.
Yeah, basically you got nuked by Celestia. Yeah, that one,
Sand dunes arose where there was only forest. And it was as if even Sumeru itself was trying to tell me that the era of the dragons was over.
But you still didn't give up, did you? Because of Amun Al-Ahmar.
Yeah, I said it. English red.
Yes. Al-Ahmar eventually obtained this power with the help of Nabu Malikata.
That's the goddess of flowers. And we don't really know what exactly the goddess of flowers was. Some speculate that she was a Seelie, that someone speculated she was some sort of angel, advanced race. So, yeah, let's see.
His ambitions continued to grow, and he planned to establish a powerful kingdom in my domain. Although I didn't think much of him, I allowed his actions under one condition. The condition was that after his death, all the knowledge he came to accumulate would belong to me.
Right, so the problem is that King Desha was contaminated with forbidden knowledge, right? And Vukalbata had to spend her power to cleanse him, even though he sacrificed himself. That's how it went in the cutscene in 3.1. So, did it... Anyway, why I'm asking questions, I'm surely a Pep will answer.
At that time, I still harbored deep regrets. By the time the Dragon King finally returned, the world had irrevocably changed.
Wait, the Dragon King returned? Huh, that's interesting.
Some of the dragons have grown close to your kind, and have forgotten all about our hatred from when the world was taken from us.
Assuming Dvalin, or Bashi was killed. As the Jar, I guess, counts as a dragon too, but as the Jar is sealed, so it doesn't really count. Oh.
And some died, leaving behind nothing but their bones, while others chose to flee after experiencing pain and agony.
So some fled to Vat.
But for me, the scales and will of the Dragon King still shine bright in my heart, even to this day. I will follow it until the end of my time.
You really are insane.
When Alachmar's proud kingdom collapsed, I swallowed him whole as I agreed and absorbed his elemental power.
So, I was saying earlier before that a Pep in Egyptian mythology is the snake that would devour the sun. Yeah. This is, I mean, it's not surprising in hindsight, like, if you know your mythology, like, you will understand. But still, sometimes I'm like, well, I was just thinking, you know? So, the thing is, the cutscene said that he sacrificed himself. Apef is saying here that it swallowed Alachmar, but did King Deshret agree to be eaten by Apep?
However, what I gained was no benefit.
Yeah, well...
No. I gained the apocalypse.
Because he was contaminated with forbidden knowledge. But if Apep has been purified... So it was contained inside of Apep in a different form. And now it's purified, like, for real? I don't know.
I used up all my strength just trying to keep the pain under control. I had no energy to analyze the knowledge he had accumulated. But even then, I still believe that his insanity was far greater than that of my own.
He was not precisely the most stable guy ever, that's for sure.
So that's how the apocalypse started.
I admit that I fell for his trap. I was like a final failsafe in his plan.
So, let me see.
Tiny Booer, and the rest of you, continue forward. I shall keep a watchful eye.
Okay, so I was hoping that Apep would elaborate on that. Fell for his trap. So basically, King Deshret used or tricked Apep into becoming a container at the expense of, well, Apep, basically. So it was like, I'm not saying taking you with me, but yeah, kind of a dick move, actually.
How far will a life so dear and precious to the heavenly principles be able to go? I wonder.
That's referring to Fairness, and the statement that humans who work Fairness's creation were his, or I don't know, or he. I don't know if his gender actually, it doesn't really matter, but anyway, let's if see, here's the problem. It's like not knowing if Fairness is the one who's still sitting in Celestia, or if he's being impersonated by the second who came. That's the real thing. That's the problem, because one thing would be judging Fairness if he's still the heavenly principles, and one other thing is if the second who came are playing a charade. So.
Hey! Looks like we've been sent back out! Still in one piece, too!
The dragon will need to rest for a very long time before it is fully healthy again. It's not as ruthless as it was before. Curing the dragon of its illness has seemingly made it more open to reason.
Nobody's in a good mood when they're feeling sick. Even though we accomplished something really important, Paimon still doesn't feel happy for some reason.
So, right back on what I was saying, that if Fairness is still the heavenly principles and the creation, this is dealing with sickness associated with forbidden knowledge, and forbidden knowledge seems to instill the feelings of fear and conflict into any being, which is actually, I mean, knowledge is a source of conflict between throughout history, or beliefs actually, but it's also part of human nature. But thing is, if let's assume that the second who came are what now is the Abyss, and Fairness and the Shades fought the second who came, and emerged victorious. But the artifact set of the Flower of Paradise mentions that Fairness had become fearful. Well, the Master of the Four Shades became fearful of conflict rising, and in that nuked some of the civilizations, like it was a single entire civilization out of fear. Maybe because Fairness himself was or is ill with forbidden knowledge as well, and being if Fairness is a descender, he wouldn't be linked to the Airman soul, unless, I mean, this is kind of what having if Celestia put the Irminsul, doesn't need that Celestia's linked to the Irminsul. I mean, this is just speculation, but it could be. I mean, anyways.
Indeed. Although they'll still have the chance to be born again, they've lost their memories of their journey and their feelings for their homeland. Each opportunity for growth is unique in its own way. Perhaps the immense power we released was the pouring out of all these irreplaceable emotions that had built up over time.
Can you really call a place with no family your home?
Family. Right! The hydrofungus left behind its family. Those two fungi might be waiting for it to return.
Oh yeah! Let's hurry and go take a look! How are we going to explain all the complicated things that happened?
Now, there's no simple way. So, there's north before. Can you call home a place with no family? And I was reminded of Cabez's character story. Which, well, I don't really want to go into leaks right now, but yeah, I remind of that, and it's actually a very interesting theme and a very good question. Okay. So basically, I was saying this would be very simple as explaining to the family that, yeah, your family member died, and it happens sometimes, but
they're still here! Have they really been waiting here all this time?
We're back. I'm sorry. I really am. But it's gone home and won't be able to return for a very long time. Don't be sad. It did it to protect you. Your happiness is more important to it than anything else in the world. It's said that Newer is its most important family member. That's your name, isn't it?
It speaks!
Wow. This is wonderful. So it has left traces of itself after all. They will definitely meet again, someday.
Bird. That was a really, really great quest. I feel like I dragged a lot. I feel like I dragged a lot of this quest by my ramblings, but it was worth it. It was really interesting, touch upon many really, really cool things in Genshin lore. Yeah. I don't know what else. Yeah. I mean, I ramble a lot during this quest, I know, and I don't know if anyone will be watching me afterwards, but yeah. Anyways, it was OBS held up, so that's reassuring because I do plan to stream the coming event, and I'm really interested into the Interdarshan Championship, and see how it goes with. I'm already suffering because I know it will be hard for me. It will be hard with me trying to get Baiju, and I'm aiming for C6 Cabe, so maybe I think it will bleed my resources dry, likely my wallet, but I will want those two. Please God, don't let 3.7 have. Okay, thanks for everyone. I want to keep working on these constellations. So yeah, maybe I'll stream something else in between. But technically, yeah, I'm in a very bad place in terms of resources. Basically, it's 2 weeks before the phase 2. This is when
The scribe's work is simple,
yeah.
which is exactly why I took the position.
So I'm not sure. Maybe I will stream something in between. Maybe not. I don't know. So, regardless of that, my plan would be streaming relevant things, not me just doing daily stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I will stream the world quest. Maybe I don't. But whatever. In any case, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave it at this. I've been recording for 3 hours without issue. That's first. But I will be leaving you guys from at this point, and
Wait.
I don't know why I accidentally move around. So yeah, I will be leaving you guys and see you. I don't know when, but whenever I do, you know you can follow my Twitter, and I will announce when I am streaming next time. So if you're interested, you can just follow me and stay tuned. And if not, then you may find me with my VODs, and that's fine too. So anyways, see you around and have a good night.